All right, we live. Here we are. Welcome everybody to Forever a White Belt. I'm your host, Naughty Nate, and tonight I have a very special guest with me, the Horn, all the way from the scrapyard. What's going on, brother?
Hey, happy to be here.
Hey, man, I'm happy to have you. And man, before we get started on this, guys, I'm looking for sponsors. So if anybody's looking to sponsor the podcast, sponsor the competition team, the Reptilian Top Team, please reach out to me. I have my LLC, so everything's legit. Reach out to me. We're looking to gain some sponsorship for the show. Also, keep an eye out for the fight before the fight. The podcast happening this Sunday with myself, Fire Chicken, LB3. We'll be talking about the upcoming Street Beef Scrapyard, or I guess it's just now the Scrapyard event happening next Saturday. So make sure you tune in for that and follow us, guys, on YouTube. F.A.W.B, I think F.A.W.B is the channel, F.A.W.B, or Instagram at F.A.W.B _ podcast. Now to our guest, the Horn, Big Dog, man, signed up for your is this your first MMA match, amateur MMA match outside the scrapyard?
Yep, first time. I'm looking
Very
forward to it. Real
first
excited.
time. Man, how'd you hear about the NWC? What made you decide to join that one?
Yeah, so I think I originally heard about them actually through your page. I can't remember how it came across, but I was
You're
like, oh, this
welcome,
this.
Austin.
I was like, hey, this seems pretty cool. And like, I think I followed them maybe like 6+ months ago on Instagram, and then I kept an eye on like when they do events and whatnot. And then just with the timing of everything, I was like, hey, now's as good a time as ever, right? And so why not? So I just put my name in the hat, and then hey, rest is history, ready to go.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. And I'm proud of you for stepping out. I know the scrapyard, man, it's such a welcoming environment. It's hard to not just stay there, but in order to grow and really expand, you got to do a couple matches outside, and you're repping the scrapyard, so I'm all for it, bro. What do we know about your opponent? Let's see. I'm going to be helping you corner you, so I know his name, Josh Johnson. We know that he's 1-1 in kickboxing. It's going to be his first ever MMA match. And he trains at an Impact Jiu-Jitsu. Now, I'm not sure which Impact that is because they're big organization. There's a lot of Impact Jiu-Jitsus all over. So I'm not really sure which one he's training out of. I know there's one in Beaverton, one here in Milwaukee, and a few all over the place. Yeah, man. So at 190 pounds, I mean, that's a pretty good weight for you because you're still coming in just, pretty solid and jacked. What's the training been like leading up to this match?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been training pretty hard Monday through Friday. If I can get a weekend day in, I do, but I'll usually try to go a little light just because, at 33, it's a little harder than it was at like 18, you know what I mean? And
Mm,
it
I
took a
hear
minute for me to,
you.
really realize that. But
Yeah.
most of the time I'm hitting Logic Jiu Jitsu Club early in the morning. I'm part of the 6 a.m. crew. Going there, and then I'm always hitting the bag and doing drills at home, watching instructionals, and all that. And then just the other day, I started going with my buddy to the UFC Fit in Puyallup. That's going to be a new thing I'm going to be adding in. So now I'm going to be getting up at 4 instead of 5. I'm going to be getting my
Woo.
first workout in at 4, and then my second workout in at 6, and that's going to be all week. So it'll be fun.
Damn, man. I love it. The dedication it's super impressive. I mean, what's your guys' excuse? This man's getting up at 4 in the morning, jumping in there, taking cold plunges and then getting out and training. What are you guys doing? Oh man, I'm going to sleep at 4 in the morning usually, bro. So congrats to you on being able to do that, man. I
Thanks,
know
man.
those 2-a-days, they're tough. But they're gonna pay off, bro. Are you feeling like you've developed any, new skills since the last time we've seen you compete?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, biggest thing is, I definitely feel a couple months ago, a lot of things in jujitsu just started to click a lot more. Like, I wouldn't go out by any means and be like, "Oh man, I had this huge epiphany and I'm really good." No,
Mm,
but it was all of a sudden it's the instructions I'm receiving. They just make sense, and I don't feel lost in positions anymore like I
mm,
did. And I now kind of have, a frame and like a game that I like to utilize, and I've been pretty successful at it.
mm,
And then from the striking side of things too, I never used to incorporate kicks at all. And honestly, up until I did that sparring out in Wisconsin with WFC, I never threw a kick in my life. And it looked, if you watch the videos of the sparring, it's very clear. Like, what is this dude doing? I'm like, people said throw kicks. So the crowd was loving it. So hell yeah, do some kicks, right?
Yeah.
But I already feel I've advanced tremendously just in the last couple weeks of implementing kicks and different combos and whatnot. So I'm pretty happy with how things are going.
Yeah, I've been watching some of your training and watching you kind of develop, and I would say too that your kicks have come a long ways. I did watch a few of those training sparring videos that you had over there, and honestly, I thought your stand up looked pretty decent. I mean, you were closing the distance well against a taller opponent, and that's not easy to do when you're still fairly new to striking. You know, you kind of get so a lot of people will sit back on their back foot, and you were really bobbing and weaving, closing that distance, and you're throwing combinations, which again is pretty rare for people that aren't really familiar with striking. They tend to like fence or look for that one shot, and you were stringing together some pretty solid combinations with not just your hands, but you threw in a couple kicks there too. So I think you're looking pretty good on that stand up, bro. And that's saying a lot coming from like I said, the last match I saw you over at the scrapyard. It was like your game plan is get a hold of the guy and slam the dude. And which is not a bad game plan at all, man. I'm telling you that some of your slams were huge, bro. I mean, that shit went viral. So what are we looking to do as a game plan going into this match?
Yeah, I mean, Nate, I'm gonna come right out from the gate and just I'm choosing violence. I'm
Love
getting in
it.
there. I want to stand and bang. I want to throw some punches. I want to have some exchanges. I'm gonna be shooting takedowns. I'm not afraid to get hit. I always make this joke, but my face is fantastic at absorbing punches. So I'm sure I'm gonna eat some, but I'm gonna be right in there. I'm getting in the pocket and I'm staying there. No matter how bloody that makes me, I'm gonna be in there. So
Oh man, I'm super excited for these fireworks, bro, because I know you're gonna get in there and bang. Um, with this guy being 1-1 and you having just a few matches underneath your belt, you guys are fairly experienced. I didn't really catch his age, but I know he's still pretty new to all this. So I'm expecting him to be probably in his 20s, probably. Do you think that the cardio is gonna be an issue for you at all, or how's your cardio looking?
yeah, so I mean, everyone's cardio can always be better, and I'm no
Mhm.
different for sure. That's always been a weak point of mine. I've definitely been working harder to address that, but I'm sure there's going to be times when it comes out, especially as the fight goes on. It's like, man, I should have done that extra session. I'm sure I'm going to regret it. So I did do a little bit of research of it. So he's 26. From
Okay.
my understanding, I found him on Instagram. I mean, I'm sure he's probably searched for me and maybe
Oh,
he's
yeah.
looked at mine. So I've watched some of his clips. I looked at his profile on Smooth Comp because he's also a jiu-jitsu guy. So I think it'll be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm honestly, I'm just thankful for the opportunity. I'm just happy to be there. So
I'm happy to have you there, man. I mean, like I said, you're traveling from out of town to head over to Vancouver, Washington, do this event. So I'm happy that I'm able to be in the area and I'm able to go there and help support you. I'm looking forward to it. I know you haven't been to this event yet, but it's a wonderful event. Austin throws a great show on. The matches are really competitive, but yet they're really fair. They really emphasize on fighter safety there too. So I think it's a wonderful first event for you to get in there and kind of get your feet wet in this MMA game. After this event, I mean, it's kind of I don't know if it's taboo to talk about matches after the match, but do we have any expectations of taking this further? Are we doing just kind of like a one and done, or are we looking to make this kind of like a little run at this amateur career?
yeah, I want to first say that I keep all my options open. I don't like to close any doors. No matter if it's just open a little crack. I still like to humor the idea. But my immediately after this fight, my main focus is going to be jujitsu. I mean, it always has been. Since I
Mhm.
started a year ago. But likely still compete locally for at least the next 6-ish months before I probably humor doing another fight. I'd really like to do a bigger fight, maybe with like the WFC at like the Emerald Queen Casino,
Oh, that'd be
just
great.
because of the
Yeah.
location. Like I don't care if I just go out and just get knocked out. It's like, man, I got to step into the ring at a huge arena like that. That would be perfect. And then who
Yeah.
knows what the future holds really down the line. I mean, I've been looking a lot more at the BKFC and looking at what their tryouts
No
look
shit.
like. So
I like it.
maybe in the future you may see me take some gloves off and just slang some bare knuckle. So who knows?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've considered the BKFC too. I kind of looked at that as like more of a towards the end of your career thing, for at least for me, just because the chances of like, getting cut up and all that stuff is a lot higher. But I'm so interested in it, bro. I mean, bare knuckle boxing, how much, I mean, that's about as primal as it gets right now.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I know that we have a couple connections with the scrapyard for some people that are also in that BKFC stuff. So, chances of you probably getting hooked up and maybe getting a potential opportunity to take a match, I mean, it's pretty high. Also, the chances of you getting seen over at the Emerald Casino by like Fire Chicken and a couple of the other scrapyard competitors is also high, because some of those guys go and compete over at that event as well. So
Yeah.
that's a really good one to get into. There's also the FCFF over in Portland, Rumble at the Roseland. That's another really good amateur event to get into. So I'm happy to hear that you're looking for other matches out, beyond this one. You're going to continue your martial arts journey, and really that's what it's about, man. Just continuing to get a little bit better each time. Do you feel like you have any, I don't know, do you feel any extra pressure leading up into this match? Because like I said, when it was a scrapyard, after the first time competing there, it's like going and seeing, your friends, your family. It's a community, it's welcoming. But at these amateur events, I guess the tension's a little bit higher, so do you feel like any kind of extra pressure because of that, or
So
maybe?
a little bit, but for something different. So
Okay.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like I feel a little more pressure there just because it's, different environment. Certainly, at the scrapyard, hey, I walk in there and I recognize, tons of people. We're shaking hands, we're giving hugs, we're taking pictures, and it's like, oh hey, we're fighting. Oh, awesome, man, cool. And we go in, you scrap, and then afterwards, give each other another hug and take a picture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing quite like that. So I'm not embarrassed. If I have a bad performance or whatnot, it takes a real lot for me to get upset. I'm truly happy to just be out getting after it and doing it. If I go out there and I try my best and that's not good enough, or I just get obliterated, like, so be it. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't make me feel any less about myself or whatnot. I respect anybody that just goes out and gets it. Now, I'm feeling a little more nervous in general, just because I wish I got started on this a while ago. So I mean,
Mm.
I know I'm not old by any means. I'm 33, right? And I hate making this statement, but it's important to bring up. So like, I'm a disabled veteran. I've been 100% total and permanent through the VA, since I was 24 years old, and that was 9
Mm.
years ago. And I have a lot of physical and mental health problems, and I mean they
Mm.
only get worse as time gets on. I mean, I already have a history of head trauma, so
Oh.
my doctor's eyes were like, "What are you doing?" When I
Mm.
told them, "Hey, I'm getting into MMA," and he's like, "Please make this short." And I'm like, who
Yeah,
knows, right?
probably
So
not. Yeah.
I would like to still get out there and show the world, like, hey, just because I have a label on me that's like, oh, you're disabled, like I can still get out there and get after it. I may not
Mm.
be world class, but hey, I'm still out here having fun, and I think
Mm.
that's what matters. So
Yeah, definitely. And the label you do have is the label of a true warrior, bro. I mean, you'd rather go out there and forget the risk, the fear of all that stuff, and I'm gonna go do something that I'm passionate about, that I feel that I need to do. And I think people that aren't in the community, and they don't train and they don't compete, I think it's kind of like really hard for them to understand all the benefits you get out of this. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, man. Like, I see a guy like you, and instantly I'm like, I understand this guy, man. We have a lot of similarities, and I don't want you to ever get injured or ever get hurt, but I'm going to stand behind you on what it is you want to do, because I know you feel you have to do that thing. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see, bro. I mean, I'm a freaking huge fan of yours. Even knowing that stuff, it makes me more of a fan, because there's a little taboo in there, like, oh, maybe he shouldn't be doing it, but he's like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do what I want to fucking do. And I love that, bro. It's a great
thanks.
mentality to have, and also the mentality you take into this, where you're open to learning, man. You're like, hey, I know that I'm coming in here. You're coming in humbled. You're not, arrogant. You're not doing what some of these young cats do, where they feel like they need to talk up the fights and they need to talk trash, and then they get out there and they embarrass themselves, or they embarrass whoever. You're coming at this with a man's maturity, and that's also really awesome. So maybe it is kind of like a, a blessing and a curse that you kind of got into this at a later date, because you never know if you got into this at a young man, you had that ego and some of that arrogance. Some people get burnt out early on because of that, but it looks like you're going to be a lifer, bro. So I
No,
love
I
that.
appreciate that. And it's funny you mentioned that because a little comment about like the the ego and the shit talking thing. So this is a self critique and a criticism of myself is I'm way too nice. I'm well aware of that. All my training partners have also said they're like, dude, like stop being nice. And I'm like, for me, my number one priority is to have fun. If I don't have fun doing something, then I see no point in doing it. And like, I would be the worst person to have on like a podcast between like two opponents. And it's like, all right, guys, like, what do you think about the other guy? I'd be like, I don't know, man. He's a cool dude. I'm just happy he's here. And the other guy would be like, fuck that guy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, man, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
man. Yeah. If you want, I guess after the fight, whatever you want to do, buddy.
yeah, dude. I don't know. So I'm just happy to be here, man. I've said it before. I'll
Yeah.
keep saying it. So.
And sometimes those are some of the toughest guys to deal with, because like part of beating somebody in the ring is breaking them down mentally, emotionally. It's how do you break down a guy that's there that's having fun doing this. I think it really adds to the intensity of the match. Plus, it really helps leading up to the match, because a lot of people get in their head early on, when you're sitting there waiting for your match to happen, you're like, oh man, I don't know, going back and forth. But if you're there and you're excited and you're like, hey man, I'm here to have a good time, I'm here to have fun, you don't have that like adrenaline dump that some of these novice fighters will get. So I think that you may have an advantage because, again, you're mature. Your approach to this, I feel like, is enthusiastic, and I think that's going to give you the slight advantage going into this match. Even though it is the first match outside the scrapyard, I think that you have enough life experience that I don't think that's going to play a factor at all, bro. I think we're going to do awesome in this match. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Me too. And and again, I'm thankful that you're going to be around to help me out. I really do appreciate that.
Of course, bro. I mean, I'm thankful that you reached out to me and asked me, man. I was kind of shocked that you were even going to be in the area, but I'm like, yeah, man, let's go and do this. I've cornered a few of the scrapyard competitors now over at this same event, so it's a beautiful thing. I love when you guys are in town and we can all collaborate and get together. Because I only get to see you guys, sometimes once a month, or some of you guys once every other month. So whenever you're in town and we get to hang out, it's always a good time for me, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. We're supposed to have Matthew Taylor on tonight with us, but he's out there busy. He's probably out there saving the world. He's a crime fighter and stuff. So yeah, don't have him. Let's see. So you're a white belt with 2 stripes now?
I still got 1 stripe.
You still got the 1? The
yep.
2's coming.
The joke that I say is I'm the 1 stripe menace. So
the 1 stripe menace. I bet you.
I'm a danger to myself and others.
I like all white belts. You got the white belt spaz down, and you're set, bro. If you got that down, that's all you really need to know at jiu-jitsu anyway. Just spaz your way out of shit.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier too that you're starting to get some of the vernacular. You're getting that frame in there. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite submission so far?
Honestly, I make this joke in the morning. My brain only thinks in overhooks and kimuras. I love the overhook from closed guard, sending some attacks from there, whether it be a punch choke, getting the leg up to get into the triangle, or half guard. I love I spam kimuras from half guard. I will put myself in half guard. Like, dude, let's go. Once I get that kimura bite, I'm not letting that go. I promise. So.
I love it, man. Heck yeah, it's some big guy jiu-jitsu, and some of those old school moves, the kimuras, the Americanas. I know, like with some jiu-jitsu schools, because they've kind of gone more competition based. They kind of gotten away from some of those older, submissions, as they would say, the basic ones. But honestly, when it comes to MMA, bro, that is where you're going to get your bread and butter, man. It's in those kimuras, in those Americanos, RNCs. Mm-hmm. Like that's when it comes down to striking and submissions, it's always going to be your basics are going to be there for you. So I'm glad that you're there and you're really putting the work in and drilling that stuff, because it's going to pay off in this match. Dun, dun, dun. So in order to get tickets for this match, guys, you're going to need to go to www.northwestchampionship.com. When purchasing the tickets, they're going to ask you if you're there to support a fighter. Make sure that you click on Bryan Scrutenhorn?
Skimmerhorn. Close enough.
Skimmerhorn.
Yeah.
Skimmerhorn. Bryan's Skimmerhorn. And yeah, be sure to do that so that he gets a small little kickback on that, because it's important that these guys get a little kickback for helping make this such an amazing event. So be sure when you're purchasing tickets that you make sure that you click on this guy right here. The event is going to be September 13th. I believe doors open at 5 p.m. But I'll know for sure. I'm going to drop a link in the comments where you can go and purchase tickets. Bryan the Horn, I appreciate you on here tonight with me, bro. I'm going to cut this a little bit earlier because I got to go feed my dogs right now. But we're going to talk again leading up to the event. I'm going to check in again with you and see how the training is going. And yeah, man, we're just going to keep staying in touch and get this thing off the ground, bro. I'm excited for the start of your MMA career.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. I really appreciate it, man. And, thank you again for having me tonight. And thanks again for coming out to support me on the 13th. It really means a lot.
Of course, brother. Anytime. All right, man. I'll talk to you a little bit later. Take it easy,
All
Bryan.
right. Thanks, Nate. Bye. Take care.
Bye, bro.